I scaled an e-commerce brand from 5K to 50K a day in ad spend in Q4. Now, that being said, even right now in the midst of Q1, we're still spending in the 5-figure range a day. And I want to show you this one small shift that we did in the account that really helped us nail down this level of scale. Now, if you're new to the channel, you know who I am. My name is Justin, and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, where on the one hand, we help businesses implement a scalable ad engine, and on the other, we grow ecom and info businesses to multi-seven figures with paid ads. And we've profitably spent and advised on over $15 million in ad spend in the last 12 months on the behalf of our clients. And let's get straight into today's video. Okay, so for some context, I did publish a case study of this client towards late Q4, give or take. This is an account that at our peak, we reached $50,000 in a day, roughly an ad spend for a 6-figure day during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. Now, I'll show you in a second. A typical day right now is slightly above $10,000 a day in ad spend, which is still not less good, especially for a Q1. So that said, I want to talk about a shift in a discussion I've had to have with this client. And funnily enough, a lot of this I owe to this client specifically, which shifted a little bit my perspective when it came to scaling. So for context, this brand came to us in late August of 2024. Okay, so first conversation actually was in July 2024. Then we ended up meeting again in August 2024 and started working officially together in September. So I'm actually going to share my screen right here and share with you the evolution of this account if you want. Okay. Because in our first month, you're going to see that this was a brand new ad account. Okay, I never ran ads on this account. Now, not to say this company had never ran ads before. They did, okay? They had another ad accounts that they were running ads to as a primary account. So this one that we have right here was $4,900 in ad spend in the month of September. So you can see a 2.26 ROAS, 11,000 in purchase conversion value. This business is actually a digital product business, okay? So margins, are pretty much 100%, meaning there's not a lot of cost besides software and payment processors. So it allows us to, play with scale quite a lot more than a typical e-commerce brand. It's still e-com, but it's digital e-com, if that makes sense. So October, you're going to see right here, 39,000 in ad spend. So pretty much a 10x from last month or from the month prior, 77,000 in purchase conversion value, 1.96 ROAS. Then November, you're going to see right here, 128,000 in ad spend, which the Black Friday itself on our account, we spent 12,000 on the client's other account, the main account essentially combined together. We spent close to 50 on that day. So 2.86 ROAS on the Black Friday itself back then. So it was a very, very good time. Now, if you're wondering, why do we have a second account? Our primary mandate with this client was to be a creative partner. So we were the ones feeding not only our account, but his account with creatives. So the structure that we had was that in our account, we kind of had more of a testing / smaller scale account, if you want, where we would add all of our new ad creatives, and then he would take them to his main account and really scale up the post IDs of the ads that we had as winners. Okay, so we were nonetheless handling the entire creative production of this account, even the other one essentially that we can't see here on screen today. December actually scaled some more in that month, so 155,000 in ad spend, 309,000 in purchase conversion value, almost a 2x ROAS. Now, January, you're going to see right here, $78,000, so a bit of a dip. What ended up happening is, unfortunately, this is the second time I've ever seen that in my career, if you want, of advertising. Client had their personal Facebook profile hacked, which their main ad account was through that profile in Business Manager. So they lost access to that, which caused a massive dip, honestly, in sales overall. And now we have to reallocate all the ad spend to ad account number 2 and kind of pretty much build up the business again from the start of the year onwards. And you're going to see this progression. So I'll get to the point of the video in a second, okay? But February right here, 125,000, so much lower ROAS during that month. It was one of the first month again, and we only had one account and not a second account running. So again, it was about kind of rebuilding the business. And then month to date, we're at 1.5 with 55,000 in ad spend in the first week of the month. So if all goes well, this is actually going to be a much better month, all things considered, for the business, given how we're ramping things up again. 1 week only, 55,000. The day's not over today. Yesterday, we spent about 10 grand, 10.5K, Wednesday, slightly below 10K. So again, we're ramping up into the 5-figure range once again daily with this account. So where I want to get to with that in this video is kind of the main shift that we've had with this client. And this is half results case study, half storytelling type of video. So I met up with this client in November to catch up on the work that had been done for the first 3 months, give or take, right? September, October, and November to date. So 2.5 months. This was the first. The client was telling me, hey guys, you're doing too many creatives. And I was surprised to hear that. I had never been told that we were producing too many ads. And he was like, look, you are making excellent creatives. But the thing is, everything you're making is like brand new concepts. You're ideating, you're not iterating at all. And not only that, even if you were iterating, he's like, you're just sending me so much volume monthly that I don't feel like we're giving enough of a fighting chance to every concept to really scale. And then this is when we opened up and compared both ad account number 1 and ad account number 2, the one that we are managing on our end, and started looking into like a lot of creatives that we killed during testing that he nonetheless was able to really scale on his account. And we're like, a lot of creatives that we thought were losers actually ended up becoming winners on his side. Now, my first point here is one that I've mentioned on YouTube before, but time. Like, one thing that he did more than us, right? Us as the agency, I think we were trying to be a lot more conscious of the budget than maybe he was or that he was used to with his account. And so if something wasn't working 2 to 3 days in, like, we'd kill it, okay? We were looking into if the creative had spent either its CPA or twice its CPA target and wasn't profitable, we'd kill it. Whereas he was giving them more time. What he was looking at, actually, funnily enough, was soft metrics. He was like, is click-through rate fine? Is cost per click low enough on those creatives? And if so, I'm going to leave them on for a lot longer, probably a week at the very least. And then from there, I will throw a lot more ad spend to it. He had a completely different methodology when it came to, optimizing. In fact, he even kind of told me, he was like, hey, look at this. And he showed me how on his main account that the more ad spend he put towards creatives, the better they would perform. Like the same concept at low spend wasn't as profitable as the same concept at a much higher spend. And so he was kind of talking about these pockets of ad spend and making sure that you looked into soft metrics first and then like really scaled up a concept, even if initial ROAS wasn't necessarily looking good. And that opened up my eyes to one thing, which like I already knew to focus on creative efficiency. But I think with this account, we have to dial back creative production. Now, I'm going to open up, our research center and tracking sheet for this client. You can see here on the right-hand side, the date that we've created a concept. It's normal, by the way, if some later, say September, because it's typically going to be like a UGC project like this one here, which, we started in September, but got just like much later. So that's that. But nonetheless, you're going to be able to see the date created, the creative type. So if it's a static, video, carousel, or UGC, and the batch number, okay? So in our 6 or so months of working with this account, we've done like a lot, okay? So you can actually more closely see it on the right-hand side. We've done removing, the first 3 or so columns, about 130, 133 concepts for this brand, okay? So if you do the math, that's 133 concepts divided by 6 months. It's still about 20 unique concepts a month. Keep in mind that every single one of those are DCTs, okay? So that said, it's like a time 3. There's 66 concepts, okay, created. If all of those were launched, that means there's like 2, variations or 2 kind of creatives done every day, which is crazy to think about, okay? We actually lowered this creative production as we progress with this client. He said, hey, look, I want more intent. He's like, you're doing banger ad creatives. And he's like, the thing is right now, you're just producing so much that I feel like you guys are too much into weeds. And he's like, again, I love the performance that I'm seeing from your guys' ad creatives. He's like, I love, comments that we're getting under these creatives. He's like, again, they're performing and the audience loves them. But he's like, about maybe 10-20% of those actually end up really sticking through. And I want you guys to look into that and do more of these. And so that said, we lowered our creative production from about 20 plus, and I say 20 because it's like, honestly, during November and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I think we neared like the 30 a month concepts done in there, which skewed our data, meaning like if you look into the average, it's as if there was 20 a month, but there were months that it was like much higher than that, especially at the start. So we lowered it at the start of the year to about 16 concepts. So less concept, better quality. And I honestly think that comes down to the importance of research and analysis, right? Because if you just pump out concept after concept after concept, even though we're tracking all these variables, right? Like what product this was for, what desire it was for, the persona, the awareness level, the sophistication, the creative type, the so on and so forth. It's like if we don't take the time to look into patterns, then we might be risking just producing a bunch of stuff and not taking care of one of our most important metric, which is hit rate. Now, our typical hit rate, we try and be at 20% or more, okay, on our accounts, which means 1 out of 5 concepts ends up becoming a winner. A winner is a concept that is getting significant amount of ad spend for a long period of time, okay? Now, with these guys, we're at 25%. Now, we're within the KPI that we typically want to be at, but it's definitely not the highest account. I've had 30, I've had 35, I've had even close to 40% on some accounts, okay? And what I've noticed is typically the less creatives that we do for an account, the higher our hit rate is, okay? It's like it allows us to really hone in on the importance of messaging. And if you look at that anyways, right? If I go into this account and I'm going to go into maximum because we've been the ones handling this entire account from the start. So, a little over 500,000 in ad spend and over a million in revenue. If I go to ads right here and I go to amount spent, okay? So we're going to go here. You can see that like this concept as an example right here, right? Which has also another variation in my top 10, give or take, of this concept. 100 and let me just round it up to 130,000 out of 580,000 in ad spend. That's a significant portion of the ad spend. Like we're talking here, like pretty much 20% of the ad spend of the account, right? In the 6-figure range for one concept, one creative that's above 2 ROAS, right? And now if we take the top 10 ad creatives made for this account, you can actually see that 2 of those are a variation or pretty much 2 like creatives of a same DCT right here. So you could actually see this is like top 9 creatives. We're making up for 50% of the ad spend of the account, okay? And if I go back once again to, if I unselect, all of these ads, look at the bottom, okay? If you factor in all the ad variations that we've had, we're talking 828 total ads that have been launched on this account in that time period. And when we look into that, 9 concepts are actually the ones carrying most of the ad spend. And I could honestly bet probably my left leg or something like that, that if I scroll down, there are more variations of these top, 9 right here found out, below. There are probably iterations on those, which if we bundled everything together, I'd say a safe bet is like our top 8 to 10 concepts are making up for like 2/3, if not more, of the ad account ad spend and results, okay? And so the lesson I'm trying to talk about in this video is that scaling is perhaps, yes, especially at the start, if you're unfamiliar with an account, about volume, just like throwing a lot of intentful things, nonetheless, at the wall. And after that, like rapidly, you have to kind of shift back into let me look into the data and just produce more of what works. And let me actually focus on quality over quantity of ad concepts on the account. And that's how we're really going to be able to scale up an account through time. So I call this the shift from volume-based scaling to intent-based scaling when it comes to creative production. Now, if you made it all the way through this video and you are an e-commerce or info product business wanting to work with a paid ads partner on Meta, Google, or TikTok, click the first link in the description down below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com. And that said, if you want to work one-on-one with me for some consulting, have me review your ads, offer, funnel, name it, then check out a second link down below to join our Ad Engine one-on-one consulting program. On that note, I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Check out other videos of the channel for some more useful e-commerce marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.